Hey everyone, Sophia here at EA's pre-E3 event in Los Angeles. I'm joined by Sean Dunn, Studio General Manager at Big Huge Games. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And so we're here to see Kingdoms of Amalur, Reckoning. And so what can you tell us about the game? Can you set us up with the story?
Sure, I can give you some of the introduction to the story. It's a big story, so we'd be here for a while if I was describing the whole thing. But you start out the game just finding out that you've been resurrected from the dead, which is, brings you into a place where you're trying to figure out who's killed you, why you died, and why someone resurrected you. And the implications of that and how that plays into the world quickly become apparent to you. You also find out that you're the only person in the entire world that doesn't have a preordained fate. And there are these people within the world called Fate Weavers who can normally see these preordained fates. And the effect that you have on their craft plays through in the narrative and really it has these ripple effect on the world. So who you are and the part you play, there's an ongoing war throughout the worlds that you take part in later on in the game. Really that's the extent of the story that we're talking about so far. But being an open world RPG, there are also thousands and thousands of stories to be had in the wilderness, out in cities and towns. Each interaction with each NPC or faction or side quest giver, they have all their own stories along with them. So, you can play for hundreds of hours to, try to explore all of the content within the world and really see and read all of the stories.
So in today's demo, you kind of focused on like some of the interaction that you can have with people around you. I noticed in the beginning, the first thing you did was try to steal something. So can you tell us a little bit about that in the demo?
Sure. So we wanted to show some of the systems that we have, those classic open world RPG systems within this demo. So we started out in the city of Rathir, one of the Dark Elf cities. And so by using stealth, we were able to sneak up behind someone and pick their pocket. Now they were off in a corner, not paying attention. We had a good enough stealth skill that we were able to get away with it, no problem. Later we showed trying to stealth in the middle of a busy bazaar with everybody looking directly at you, you're going to get caught by the guards. And once you're apprehended by the guards, you have a couple options. You can try to resist arrest, which maybe in a small town might make good sense. In a giant city like Rathir, not such a good choice. You can go to jail. Now, when you go to jail, you can choose to actually spend that time in jail and pay a small XP penalty for that. You could try to sneak out of jail by either pickpocketing a guard and stealing the key, or you can try to fight your way out of jail. And each of those systems plays into all of the things that you can do within the world, all of the tools that you have, and the toys that you get to play with, and the things that you get to do. So it's such a broad, giant world, and we want to give you all those tools to be able to do whatever it is you want to do.
And does that affect your character in any way by, either, stealing stuff or doing bad things versus, playing the good guy?
We don't really have a system that tracks the player's morality level. There's no good or bad. We don't want to pigeonhole people into a choice makes them bad. But we do want to give people that ability, if they want to go and kill, someone in a town, an innkeeper or something like that, if they wanted to, we allow them to do that. There are repercussions. They may have to go to jail. They may have to pay a fine. They may be killed by the guards. Or they may have just killed a side quest giver or something that would have given them a certain amount of content that they could have played through. We do protect the quest givers of the main content through the game. We don't want people to ruin their own game by accidentally killing a key character.
And there's also other things to do in the game other than taking on the quests. Like I saw a bit about blacksmithing, and could you talk a bit about the side things that you could do?
Sure. So a lot of the skills that you can choose to employ within the game, blacksmithing being one of them. We also have alchemy and sage crafting. But so blacksmithing, for example, lets you take weapons and armor that you find within the world or that you buy from vendors, and instead of selling them as junk or selling them for cash, you can choose to try to break them down into component parts. You can then take those component parts and through recipes build up new items, new weapons, new armor, and you can really build some awesome weaponry with those skills.
So as you level up, you get abilities to kind of choose your destiny. You guys described it. Could you talk a bit about that?
Sure. So we're never really comfortable with the idea of having a player have to choose a class in the game before they start playing it. So in Reckoning, what we do is we give the player attribute points, and they can assign those attribute points in one of 3 trees. There's the might tree, the sorcery tree, and the finesse tree. And by assigning those points into skills and attributes that they want to execute in their combat or in their play, they get to choose the style of play. They get to choose how the outcome is for what their button presses are. And what we then do is we'll unlock destinies based upon their choices. So if someone goes straight down the sorcery tree, we might unlock a sage destiny. In the demo, you saw we had a combination of a rogue and a sorcerer. So when we leveled up, we unlocked a shadowcaster. And what that does is that lets you shift some of your power from being pure sorcery into the rogue area. So we may bolster your stealth skills with that, or there are differences like in the might tree. When you have a dodge, it's a roll. In the sorcery tree, you can unlock destinies that make the dodge a teleport instead. The roll has collision, so that may be great for a warrior that wants to get in close to deal heavy damage, whereas a mage, the teleport works great because it lets you get out of, you can teleport through enemies. You saw when we unlocked the Shadowcaster Destiny, we added a poison to that teleport so that when you teleported through an enemy, it actually applied a poison effect to the enemy. And mixing those things with different classes, like being able to teleport through an enemy, be behind them, and then attack them in the back with daggers, it gives the player a lot of tools to choose how they want to play.
And there's a lot of talent behind this game. What do you think fantasy fans are going to look forward to the most?
Wow. So, I mean, with the pedigree of the people working on the game, you know, Ken Ralston, lead designer of Morrowind and Oblivion, the expertise that he brings to this game from a systemic standpoint and a narrative standpoint, and just that idea of being able to craft these micro stories all over the world. And then R.A. Salvatore, you know, it's like R.A. created this 10,000 years of history for the kingdoms of Amalur that our writers and our narrative designers get to pull from. So all the races, the geography, the cultures behind them. When you have that rich history built, it just makes the world feel more cohesive.
And my final question, so when's the game coming out and on what platform?
So Reckoning is coming out for the PC, 360, and PS3 in 2012.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.